Hi, thank you for joining me today and listening to this presentation on how we can spend our library LCAP budget for this school year. Our library was allotted $17,080, which was determined by multiplying our most recent CBEDS enrollment by $8 per student. And I'm going to jump right into how we could spend this money. So this school year marks the official implementation of the NGSS standards in our school and in our district as a whole. And both teachers and students will benefit from a database like this, a database that collects and offers credible, relevant, and current articles on scientific matters. So during the end of July, we had our librarian-led summer training on research. And our feedback forms show a strong need for a science-related database. While we have two Gale databases that are funded through the district, we have Student Resources and Context and Opposing Viewpoints. Neither of these offer a large amount of text for the science classroom. And the science teachers who did attend our research training session, they loved Gale. They loved the Gale databases that we were showing them, but they were disappointed that there was no viable option for their assigned research papers and projects because there's just not enough material on the other sites. So the cost for our entire district would be $16,000, and that would service all 8 of the high schools in our district. If we split that evenly amongst the high schools, this equates to $2,000 per school each year. The high school librarians have discussed and agreed to spend $2,000 from each of their own LCAP funds in order to purchase this for the first year to see if the science teachers really like it and really utilize it. And what we're hoping for is that by the end of this school year, we can look at the usage statistics, and that will justify the expenditure, which hopefully will convince the district to start paying for this database as well as the other databases that they do already fund. Next up, we are going to talk about books, and I want to talk about the justification first. So, print resources ensure equitable access for socioeconomically disadvantaged students, and we want to be able to provide those resources for those students. As a library, we also need current ebooks that support our curriculum. Our circulation statistics show that although print resources show a higher turnover rate in our library, there has been an increase in the use of 3M, which is our library ebook system, and we want to be responsive to that trend as well. With the new Common Core standards, or as we refer to them, the new California state standards, we are focusing more on research and nonfiction text, and that is something we've talked about repeatedly. If you couple that with the district's vision to make our students college and career ready, we need to supply them with the books to fulfill both of those needs. So we need to buff up our library collection in order to meet these demands. And we also talked about how the NGSS standards are about to be implemented, and we need to supply our students with the material to access that content better. I put this little heart on the slide as well because this was from our library program last year that was titled Love Your Library. And students could come in every day in the month of February and write down one reason why they loved the campus library. And this one says, what I like about the library is being able to check out any book I want. And we want our students to feel that way. We want our students to feel like they can come into the library and they can find what they want. Other justifications for purchasing new books this year are an increase in the amount of book talks. We talked about how 3 years ago before I came, there were not many book talks, and you wanted me to get out there to make those classroom connections. And in the first year, we averaged around 65. And in the last school year, we averaged I think it was 89 book talks in the course of the year. And hopefully that trend continues and we keep getting the teachers in to have book talks, but we want to be able to offer those students that come in the new books as well as the old classic books, and to just give them a variety of choices. Another trend that's going on our campus is the literature circles. So teachers are coming to me saying, we want to do book talks on literature circles, but do you have at least 5 copies of this book? So if the students come together and choose this book, each of them has the option of checking it out from the school library in case they cannot or do not want to purchase it at a bookstore. And that is something that we need to be able to supply them with. I'm also going to talk about how we're going to choose the books as a library staff that we want to purchase. So in the nonfiction category, there are several areas that we do want to make sure we purchase books for, and that's STEAM topics, vocational topics, controversial issues, global issues, college and testing materials, and biographies. 2 of those directly relate to our district school and school library mission statements of making our kids college and career ready by the time they leave us. I put down informal conversations because we often forget about it, and it's actually so important. It's those organic moments when you're talking to someone and you're realizing what they're trying to do with their kids, and that's when you can write down so many ideas for books. So for example, I was having a conversation with Mr. Kruger the other day, and he's the AP economic teacher, and he wants to have students read an economics book outside of the classroom and write a report on it every semester, which is a great idea. He already has a list of the books that are current and that would fulfill his requirements for his assignment, and we want to be able to purchase those books so that the students, when they're assigned that assignment, they can come into the library and check out those books. Also, we want to use the suggestions that are given to us through the website or through the wish list surveys. The wish list survey is something that occurs at the beginning of the year staff open house. And they have 2 ways of suggesting books. They can suggest it on paper or online. If it is further on in the year, we have a little section on our website where they can just suggest a book. And actually, the last school month we had 48 entries just for the wish list. So it is a valuable tool to collect that information. And if we want to encourage them to keep using those tools, we do want to supply the books that they request. Also, another thing that I'm going to use to look at in my purchasing is the literature circle title, so that we make sure we're responding to that need as well.